and we're gonna actually grab our poles for this one. Perfect. That was epic. Hey, I'm Katie White. I'm the ski school director down here in Portillo, Chile, and I also work at the Yellowstone Club in Montana. So I see a lot of people really wanting to get what I call mad angs or mad angles, hip on the ground skiing, where the legs are way out and the hip is near the ground or touching the snow. And one of the things that I see happening a lot is people moving into a position before the force is actually built up, and therefore they end up on the inside ski. So I'm gonna take you through some of the drills that I do that have helped me achieve that lower hip on the ground look, but still be really strong on that outside ski. So when you're doing this right, you're gonna really feel like you're moving with your skis, like you have control of the skis. You're gonna feel strong throughout the whole turn and from turn to turn for multiple turns. I'm gonna be using Carv today to show what's happening while I'm demonstrating these drills, and if you have Carv, you can do the same. If you don't know what Carv is, it's an insert that goes into your boot, and it's linked to an app on your phone that's accumulating data and giving you a bunch of different metrics about your skiing, and can be used as a really great coaching tool. If you're a Carv skier, you're gonna notice these drills hugely impacting your early edge and your edge similarity, which will definitely impact your ski IQ. You should see your scores bump up in these categories, and you'll definitely feel a lot more fluid in your skiing. We're gonna start with a no pulls basic parallel. I've got my boots nice and tight. We're gonna have our hands on our hips, and I like to lift my jacket up and then get my fingertips on the front part of my hip bones and then my thumb on the back so I can really feel the hips. And the goal is to move as smoothly as possible and release the edges simultaneously, and then we'll engage the edges simultaneously. So we're gonna take it nice and slow, and here we go. All the movements starting from the feet. Thinking about just nice, clean release, flat ski. Sometimes I like to ride a flat ski, then roll to the new edges. Ride a flat ski, roll to the new edges. If you're a Carv user, a really good way to tell that you're being successful with this hands on the hip basic parallel is to look at the edge similarity and the early edge angle metrics, and those will help you. So you want as much edge similarity as you can and early edge engagement in the top of the turn. And the goal is that the hips are aligned right over the feet as you come through that release of the edge and engagement of the new edge. I like to hold my skis on a flat surface. Sometimes I'll count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and then I'll roll to the new edges. It's this roll from old edge to flat to new edge, underneath the hips. I'd recommend using the edge similarity monitor to see how accurately you're doing on every single turn. So once you feel really good with this basic parallel hands on the hips, movement starting from the feet, we're gonna move into what I call a stock turn. It's also known as a stork turn around the world. All right, and we're gonna actually grab our poles for this one. So we're just lifting the inside tail, and now we're gonna focus on outside ski pressure. So I'll run through. I'm gonna lift my inside ski. Lift my inside ski. If this is a little challenging for you, lifting the inside ski and balancing without a double pole drag, no problem. A really good way to intro this is to just lightly drag both poles on the ground. That'll help with your balance. And once you feel comfortable, you can start to combine what we did in our basic parallel, which is the release of the old edge and the engagement of the new edge, along with outside ski pressure. So even for our most advanced skiers, doing these drills almost painfully slow on easy terrain, I think will be almost more challenging for you because you really have to be deliberate with the movements of your feet in the boot so that you don't fall inside of the turn. And that's what we're really working on, getting the hip on the ground. You have to have an aligned stance and be stacked with your feet instead of just moving too quickly inside. All right, so our next drill we're gonna work on is just really clean edge rolls down the fall line. The first time that you do this, you might wanna try them on a cat track where it's nice and flat so you don't feel like you're going way out of control with speed. Again, a double pull drag is always, just a light, regular grip double pull drag is always a really good way to help with balance if you feel like you're lacking balance. The goal here is to have the hips over the feet and the edging movements starting from the feet, not from the hip. Here we go. Quick edge to edge rolls. Still really active through my feet. And this is where I love carve because my metrics are gonna show me my outside ski pressure, my early edge engagement. All right, so Alex, are you game to have me take the camera and we see how your edge similarity works after you try some of these drills? Awesome.
Okay, so we're at the start of a nice section. It's not too steep, so I can really put into practice some of the stuff that we're working on.
So Alex is gonna do hands on the hips here, focusing on flat ski, simultaneous edge release, and then simultaneous edge engagement.
How did that feel? Pretty good. I think the first part of the steep pitch, looking at my scores now, edge sim was around 50%, which is pretty low for me, because I think as it got steeper, my technique unraveled a bit.
Now he's moving into the stock turn, focusing on that early outside ski pressure and early edge engagement. Now into the railroad tracks, building that pressure outside ski to outside ski.
All right, nice. So, God, I'm puffing a bit after that. Let's have a look. So I open up edge similarity. I'll just go to my day. Oh wow, best ski IQ of the day. So that's a 152, which for me is pretty good. I normally ski like a 140, 145. Edge similarity, wow. That best edge similarity 93, but almost every single one until right at the end. 82, 87, 92, 93. So that was really good. And actually that's sustained all the way through the run.
Alex, I'm looking at your data and this is awesome. First off, you hit every single target zone, which is really cool. Nice work. Your edge similarity is 84%, edge angle 62. That's really great. Early edging 90%. That is awesome work.
So Katie, I think you've done it. You got the magic touch. Thank you.
My personal journey on this skill of getting the hip closer to the ground started with learning to carve, and then I was in the same boat of as soon as I would come over a roll and onto something steep, I would feel that chatter and late pressure and speed control coming from the skis being across the hill. And it really took a little bit of time for me to figure out how to be aligned with my skis, find that early edge angle and early outside ski pressure to get my hip closer to the ground. Once you've done these drills, you should feel more stacked, like you have speed control throughout your whole turn, and like your hip is way closer to the snow. You should really start to see that ski IQ jump up as you start to engage with your outside ski a bit more. Thanks so much for watching. I really hope this helps and I hope you get out there and rip it this season. Let me know how you guys go in the comments and I hope to see you ripping some turns next winter. I call them egg rolls with little kids instead of edge rolls. Because, yeah, anyways, so that's why. Okay, I'll do that again.